Meeting in Beijing in a choreographed show of solidarity, the Chinese leader backed Russia in its showdown with the West over Ukraine. In a joint statement, they opposed NATO expansion and accused the U.S. and the West of stoking instability. As diplomatic push continues, Macron will travel to Russia and Ukraine next week. Beijing. President Xi Jinping of China on Friday offered firm support to President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia in the Kremlin showdown with the West over Ukraine, strengthening a relationship that presents a continuing challenge to the United States' dominance on the world stage. In a highly choreographed display of solidarity, the two leaders met in Beijing ahead of the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics, the first meeting that Mr. Xi has held in person with a foreign counterpart in nearly 2 years. It comes at a moment of escalating tensions between the West and Russia over Ukraine. Mr. Putin has amassed more than 100,000 troops to his neighbors north, south and east, and what NATO allies view as a menacing prelude to an attack. In a lengthy joint statement, China accused the United States of stoking protests in Hong Kong and encouraging independence in Taiwan, while Russia said the United States was playing a similarly destabilizing role in Ukraine. Russia and China stand against attempts by external forces to undermine us. It said both nations intend to counter-interference by outside forces in the internal affairs of sovereign countries under any pretext, oppose color revolutions, and will increase cooperation in the aforementioned areas. China has said that the world should not be divided into the kind of power blocs that defined the era when the Soviet Union and the United States were the two dominant superpowers. And on Friday, China sided with Russia on one of its key security demands, an end to NATO expansion to the east and closer to Russia's borders. The sides oppose further enlargement of NATO and call on the North Atlantic Alliance to abandon its ideologized Cold War approaches, the statement said. Although the intention behind the troop buildup remains uncertain, the Kremlin has accused the United States of exaggerating the threat of an invasion and of raising tensions by deploying its own troops to Eastern Europe. This week, Mr. Putin said the United States was trying to goad the Kremlin into action and complained that the West had ignored Russia's demands for security guarantees. In scenes initially shown on Russian state television, Mr. Putin greeted Mr. Xi on a red carpet at the government guesthouse in western Beijing, raising his hand in greeting. The Chinese leader responded, through a translator, "Hello. I'm very glad to see you." Mr. Putin told him that the Chinese-Russian relationship had taken on a truly unprecedented character.